top dog for the week. So last week we had Sean. Now this is a pretty amazing story. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a recap of Sean's career, and we're going to let him kind of take it away from there. But Sean came and started working with us in December or November of 2022. The guy is made out of grit, right? Through a little bit of unknowingness, his training was not great. I think that he had probably 3 hours total of training in his first month. And then when we found out about that, we quickly switched gears and I started training him where I brought him up right before Christmas. He worked with me, and then I went down right after Christmas, worked with him, and then he proceeded to go on in 2023 to become the number 66th highest producing agent in all of Globe Life Family Heritage in 2023, and then had some family situations come up. And 2024 was just really rough. Had to take a break. Went and did some roofing sales, and then has recently come back and joined up with DG and went and worked with John about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Had a really strong week then, and then came back strong with a big Globe week last week. So, Sean, I'm really excited about this because this just kind of just shows just a ridiculous amount of resilience that you do have, and going from we can name I can name at least 6 situations where you would have every right to not be sitting here today, and yet here you are. And so, and like these are like situations that aren't just like, oh, this job was hard, so I decided to move on. These are jobs where it's like it would have thrown out the best person I've ever seen come here. So I'm gonna turn it over to you. I'm gonna just like let you teach whatever you want to teach.
So today I just kind of wanted to share with you guys one of my journal entries when I was pivoting on what I was going to do. Okay. And I call it addicted to the journey. Once again, I'm asking myself, why here? Why Texas? Why all this? Why? And it's all coming together because I got to learn about myself. Um, I don't know too many people where I'm at other than business. I have a lot of friends, but they're just more business related, or I've met them through other people in business. And those are kind of my networks down here. But doing that, I went through my divorce. There's a bunch with that. Had some issues with it, but I had a lot of lessons with it, as you have a lot of lessons in this career. Um, and I ended up having so much going on, like where my emotions were taking charge of my day completely, taking charge of my mindset, really controlling me. And it was overwhelming. And this job can be very hard if you can't control that or compose yourself or have your methods to take care of business and just do work. And I love that aspect about this job, is that if you can do it, you can put your head down and just go talk to people. And you could even be having a bad day and have like 5 bad calls, and people will change your day because you're just talking to great people. They're out there, they're everywhere. Um, and so I took a break from Family Heritage. It was kind of hard because I know ever since I came to Family Heritage, I'm like, this is me. This is I like this. This is hard, but I like this hard. I like the aspect of what I can do with it, having the best product in the world. Um, and that's when I really started to see, like, okay, I'm here. I got connected at a roofing company because they were clients of mine. One of those great where you walk in and you're talking to some cool people and it's like a lead across the board. It was one of those people that I was just revisiting. And they're like, hey, why don't you come sell roofs with us? It's really easy and you can stay local going through your divorce, and you don't have to hop around a lot because I wasn't marrying my turf too much. And I was like, okay, fine, that sounds like a good deal. And I did it. I had a lot of success with it too. I sold just shy of 1 million in roofs. And that's all completed. It was good. Still have a good relationship with them, but I completely separated from the roofing aspect. But that's when the pieces really started coming together. So the reason I think I went to the roof is not because of me. I really do feel that it was God, because when I went to the roofing company, I made some friends there, but those guys brought me to the church. They brought me to a men's group. They brought me to a veterans like meeting. It's called a Mighty Men. On the weekends, I go to that and spend a lot of time with that. There's a lot of involvement. It's a lot of fun. A lot of them are all business professionals, and it's been a huge game changer. But I look at that. I'm like, why did I end up here? And that was how I view it. Is that just brought me closer to God? That was a season of my life that I had to go through to process everything and kind of come into know that I need to get back to family heritage. And how am I going to do that? How is this going to happen? They knew it. They told me every day. They're like, just just tough it out. You'll be able to get back where you want and do whatever you need to do. And I heard all that stuff. But so that's what brings me back. But I'm addicted to the journey because of the highs and the lows. Okay, just like life, you get addicted to life from the highs and the lows. That's what keeps you going every day. You can't embrace the great moments of your job if you don't have the lowest moments of your job too. You'll never know if it's high all the time. If every time you have sales and there's sales, everything's great and there's nothing bad going on, there's no cancellations, you probably won't know how great it actually is. But some of the things that I want to focus on, I want to show you the lows that I experienced, and then I'll tell you about the highs. Okay, because I don't want to bring everyone down. But some of the lows that you'll experience, I'll buzz through these fast. Spouse objections, they can never be fun. Sometimes you can't get around them. Sometimes you got to make appointments and figure something out. Going through lots of contacts, that can suck, but sometimes it's just what you need to do. Um, Days that you don't feel like you're making progress, we all have them. Working alone, this job can be really lonely. So connect with people, look for stuff everywhere that's going wrong. But you can also get addicted to it, because if you're experiencing those lows and you're actually out there talking to people, you're getting objections, the system is going to pop for you just like it did for me. That's really what I want to get to next, is that I wasn't doing anything serious recipe. But the highs can be amazing. And some of the highs that I'll say over and over again would be connecting with others on serious stuff, impactful things that'll change their life. Um, it could also be meeting people and just getting to know them, which can be a challenge for some. It can be something that you've never done before, but it can be amazing and it will change your career if you choose to do it more. Selling the best products in the world, I truly think that, yeah, there's probably a lot of insurance out there that can be great, can do awesome things. But it's just nothing that's like this. It's nothing that you can just use your iPad, go sell, not have like a bunch of cash for others, and then the benefits that come at it with the trips. If you're an achiever and you like to chase a scoreboard, being on the scoreboard, taking pride in yourself, pride in others, pride in those that are growing around you or with you. The daily calls, very rarely is there an opportunity to have a job where you have daily coaching calls, daily development and growth. Finding a community nowadays where there's a team that comes together and they're focused on growth, it's kind of hard to find. And this team is pretty close. You'll notice that like usually people are hugging on training wars, and that was like new for me. I'm like, okay, that's awesome when you're close, and the ability to have the versatility. You can do everything on an iPad as long as you have a license. The versatility that's what I'm talking about. Like just being able to just go sell. As long as you're licensed, you got iPad, you're good to go. recruit, train, and sell. You are your own business, and the fact that there's a way to go at all times, you can just refer to that and use that as your business model. You don't have to create anything. You don't have to do anything that's magical. And then also kind of just something that I kind of developed that I like. It's the name, Family Heritage. We have family oriented benefits when people go through something crazy. It's not just about the person, it's about the family. And it's a family oriented business. If you haven't been to the mid-year meetings or any of the incentive trips, there's a lot of family involvement, family consideration. And it's really special to be with a company that is like that. Some of the things that I'm doing differently, I'm visiting people that have been policyholders for a while with me still. I've had some great run-ins over the past few weeks, and some I wish they could have gone better. I wish I would have done stuff differently, but I assure them I'm doing things differently going forward. And some of that stuff would be, there's been claims that are in excess of over $20,000 that I've ran into where we've already paid them out, but they've like moved from Montana to Washington, or talking to people and asking how to show it to their staff. When I was in this business before, I was going in and really just writing off whoever's in front of me and then leaving. That was one-offs. Just that was how I did my business, and it wasn't doing enough. And someone said it to me, maybe it was Andy or Devin, or it was like doing a bunch of construction work with just a shovel when there's a backhoe sitting right there. And by that, you can go into a business, instead of signing up one person, you sign up a bunch of them. So I was just hasty in the way I was doing it. I'm trying to work my days smarter through a schedule that typically works. That's what I did last week, and was kind of really what was pivotal. And I was thankful that a lot of that stuff, it stuck, and I didn't focus on whether they were going to cancel or change their mind or whatever. I just planned on it working for me, so it did work for me. Carrying less of a load. Whatever you have going on, stuff happens. Life is going to happen, but let it happen, and just keep moving forward. That is literally the best advice I could give someone with this business, is just keep going. Just go to the next business on the right. It will work out. Whatever your mindset is, it has to be that it'll work out. And that workout could be, you're going to shake 5 hands when you're in there, or you're going to meet someone really cool and make a friend with them. Or, the most important part, which I also think is a huge entity of this, is you got to remember to have fun. If you have fun and you aren't this serious persona all the time, you're going to be more approachable. You're probably going to be more of yourself, because everyone has their own different kind of fun. Just keeping it professional and really just embracing the journey. You're going to be able to embrace the journey. You're going to get addicted to the journey when you are being fun, being yourself, doing the things you need to do, all the IPAs, those income producing activities, whatever they might be in your day, contacts, hours, demos, families protected, making it to an appointment, saying thank you, stopping in on someone who just filed a claim, helping people with their claims, maybe just putting stuff in your calendar, or calling people to say thanks for having you in, or sending them a letter. But I basically signed people up last week because of appointments, because of good communication, and because my names list in the area that I'm working, people know. And when I go back to these businesses, I've had mostly good interactions, and I just carry that with me, and I just keep asking, where should I go next? Where who's next door? Or do you have a friend or a family member who also might like something like this, or at least give me 5 minutes so I can show them to see if it's a good fit for them. But just driving my days through tenacity, compassion, and enthusiasm are really going to be game changers for anyone that comes in this business. There is not a special recipe. The recipe is going to be in the books,
And it's going to be just continuing to practice, continuing to get out there and get demos. And if you're not getting demos, get help. I've called John, I've called Devin, I've had frustrating days. They all happen. And if you don't learn to call them, or if you don't poke them when you need to, um, no one else is gonna help you. You're on a stranded island. So these guys are already putting their hands out with the morning meetings. So if you have or need them, they have been there for me since I started in this business. So I just would encourage anyone to go down that avenue if you need to. But that's really all I got.
Awesome, man. I love it. Thank you so much for doing this and opening
Yeah,
up about like, the whole journey. It's really is quite a bit. Um, one thing that I wanted to ask you, right, is because like when you went to um the roofing company, like
yeah.
we stayed in pretty good contact and like you reached out to me fairly often, just because like you knew that this is like where you want to come back to. So if you don't mind me asking, like, what would you say are like the top two, maybe three things that just with your experience, because you've done a lot of things, right? Military, manufacturing, came here, went, did something else, came back. Like, what are the top two, maybe three things that just really spoke to your soul? That's like, no, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be, that kept bringing you back.
So the owner of the roofing company, his name's Josh, and Josh brought me to that group, Mighty Men. Like he caught me on a horrible day. I mean, horrible. And he's like, bro, just stop what you're doing. Like, there's nothing needs to be done here. And like, I can see you're going through something. Why don't you just meet me tomorrow? And it was a Friday. We met on Saturday morning at like 7 a.m. at the church. And at church, they just talked about identity, identity through your, you know, yourself, through God, how you're identifying with the world, with your family. They talk about stewardship. They talk about all these different things, and it's almost every time they mention this stuff. But really, just identity. They're the impact of the leaders in this room has been so pivotal for me on steering me back to really who I am and where I need to be. And they even see it through me, like you could look for roofs all day, but like I'm looking for small businesses, like, and like just like riding in the car, like I'm looking for small businesses, but right now I'm doing roofing. What the heck is going on? But like you feel what you're supposed to do and what you like to do and what you want to do. And if you've already been good at it, it's usually a good recipe to stick with it or get back into it. And I mean, I don't think my boys have stopped asking me like, did you green out? Did you eagle? Did you none of that stuff has really changed in my language. And none of it's changed with my identity. Just because it never left. It really just felt like a season. I had multiple people that would ask me like, do you see this roofing thing forever? I'm like, no, it's insurance. I'm an insurance salesman. Like that is what I do. That is who I am. And I've never felt convicted in something like sales, and I never would have saw myself as a salesperson ever. I was like just, manufacturing. I'm in charge, yada yada. But like that wasn't always me because I became instead of like a centralized leader, I became a decentralized leader. I like more laid back, more listening, and that really changed the game for me. Just taking a look at the identity, you know, praying about it, sitting with myself. Like, what do I really want to do? Is this roofing place going to get me to my goals? Are my goals even like foreseeable? You know, um, what's the longevity of this? All of that stuff. There was just so many limits when I was looking at the roofing versus something that I pretty much like. Even my conversations with you and John, like they were pull myself out of this. I couldn't even like logically say like I like it was to a point where it's like, okay, you're not contributing, I'm not contributing, this is not gonna work, and I have to just take a break or figure it out and then hopefully get back. But
really just looking at myself and sitting with myself and then absorbing the pain and the triumph at the same time, and really just finding my way was what put me back in this seat. And it's it's such a breath of fresh air. It's like carrying like 100 pound less of a backpack and putting my energy back where it belongs, because there's nothing like a worse feeling than someone just stealing your energy, but a job to steal your energy and steal your soul, that can be awful. So doing what you want to do, where you belong, and what you love, no matter what the loss or the struggle or the triumph or the wins and the losses, you got to appreciate them all and just embrace the journey.
I love it. Any other questions for Sean?
I'm just going to jump in real quick because I'm actually in the middle of boarding a flight. Mr. Sean Sweeney, you're absolutely a legend for me. I don't know if you remember when we did a train more out in Utah. You were one of the very few to actually ask me my fear and literally show me how to conquer it right there in a business. Absolute legend. A few keynotes real fast, just so that way I can get them off. Glad to see you back, experiencing the lows before you can even experience the highs. That's a great way of looking at it all. Just do it, and then just keep going and have faith. For the past couple of weeks, obviously, you guys know my father died, and my father was the one that usually did all the prayers and all that stuff like that, and was, the one that really handled all that type of situation. And now that I've actually taken over, because my family just kind of was just like, Troy, say the prayers for the past 3 weeks. It's kind of got me way more in touch, and I feel every word that you mentioned about being faithful with God and walking in those footsteps. And I'm glad that that's a journey that you're willing to take, and it sounds like you're actually, succeeding in. So great to see you back, man. I got to join this flight, so I'll give you guys a call, or I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, take care, bud.
Any other comments or takeaways that people want to bring up? Dude, you crushed it. Awesome, Sean. Super proud of you, man. Thank you very much. And guys, I'd encourage you to everybody, one really big thing that I feel like maybe we should just highlight is like when he talked about when Sean's talking about identity, right? Like we create these identities based off of the stories we're told, the experiences that we have, but like you can recreate that identity anytime you want. And then you usually get what your identity tells you that you're worthy of, or what you will have. And so, I think that that's just like a really underrated thing. And it's a very hard thing it's one of those things where it's like, it's easy to change. It's also easy not to change. And so because it's easy not to change, most people don't really take the time to ever do that. And the fact that that was for Sean, I
do
love
have
that.
One more thing to add.
Yeah.
If everyone left this meeting and goes and look, if you don't know, Ephesians 3:20, God can do far more than you can ever think, ask, or imagine. Just think about putting that into your sales career, and then try and tell me God doesn't have your back every day. So that's all I got. I appreciate your time, everyone. Thanks, Devin. Thanks, John, for everything.
Absolutely. Love it. Happy Friday, everybody. We will see you on Monday. Finish strong.